So, I recently got Subnautica via the Microsoft Store and Game Pass Ultimate. I think. I'm not entirely sure on how that all worked, but it does seem to have. And my son said to me, "Dad, Subnautica videos are really popular, why don't you try doing one of those?" So I thought, fair enough son, I'll give it a crack. And this is me attempting to do that, starting from a brand new game, just to try and give you an idea of what it's all about and what you can expect from the game. I am playing in survival mode, which basically means everything is live. So anything and everything can and will try and kill you as hard as it possibly can. Right now I'm just using a fire extinguisher to get rid of these flames, and then things will settle down a bit. So, here's my PDA that's booting up in emergency mode. Altaria is the company that you work for, I believe.
You have suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome.
It's a very dry
this
PDA.
has now rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Please refer to the databank for detailed survival advice. Good luck.
So, here we go. So, I don't know how much you know about this game already. My son played it on creative mode a lot and really enjoyed it. So that meant I've seen quite a lot of what it can do, and I know a reasonable idea of how the gameplay mechanics operate, but he never really did it on survival mode. And I was quite interested to see how it worked on survival. So let me just show you the world quickly before I move on to other things. I'm just going to pop the hatch, and there we are. So this is what you're faced with when you
Suffered orbital hull failure.
First start looking around.
Unknown. Zero human life signs detected.
Now, this is really interesting because this is slightly different to where I've started previously. I think I was further that direction before. That's interesting. I didn't know that was randomised. Because you can actually see a little island there, and that's unusual. So that's something I've learned today, that you can start at slightly different points each time. Okay. So, what you've got in your little escape pod, and this is literally what you've got, is this fabricator. You can see here there are various resources that you can make when you've got enough raw materials, but you need raw materials. And I don't need this fire extinguisher anymore, so I'm going to get rid of that. I picked up a med kit, a first aid kit, because this machine here spits them out at you every now and again. And they're very useful because they do give you a chunk of health back. In this storage container, where I'll now place the fire extinguisher, which I don't need anymore, I have some filtered water, which I'm going to grab because you've got to keep yourself hydrated. You've also got some really good food sources, which I generally try and avoid because plus 75 food is epic, basically. But it's also largely unnecessary because the aim of this game, obviously being survival, is to use the local resources to survive and progress. So I'm going to exit the escape pod from the bottom hatch now, which will put us straight into the water down below. And you dive in. So I'm running this on a PC, quite a modern PC, shiny new tower system, first time in a long time that I've had one, and as you can see, it's rather lovely. Really pretty graphics. That fish is too fast for me. So I'm going to collect a few fish. It's just a left click to get them once you get close enough. Some are just good for eating. Some will give you water. So this is an example of one that will give you water. I'm just going to try and track down him. This is a bladder fish.
New creature discovered.
You can see there's a hint there that it can do stuff other than just be eaten.
May have unexpected applications. Utilizing alien resources is a proven survival strategy. New creature discovered.
There you can see my oxygen was getting low, so I had to surface then to replenish it. So, in terms of survival, obviously you have a health bar, which will decrease if you're attacked. you have a food bar to indicate how hungry you are and how many calories you've got left. So if that drops too low, you die. If you run out of water in your system, if you dehydrate, you die. And if you run out of oxygen, you die. You do get a little bit of leeway with the oxygen, because if you can make it vaguely near the surface before you run out, as long as you're heading in the right direction, you will probably make it. So, as you can see, I'm filling up my inventory with fish here. Now, if you can cook them on board, and I'll show you that in a second, but once you've cooked them, they do start to degrade and decompose.
Copper is an essential
Copper is a
component
nice
of
start.
all powered equipment. Your probability of survival has just increased to unlikely, but plausible.
So there you go. That's a positive thing, apparently. So
Oxygen.
initially what you're trying to do is get some basic ingredients together so you can start manufacturing more interesting things. That's basically the name of the game at this stage. I haven't played this much beyond the first half hour or so, but obviously I'm gradually learning how to make it more efficient early doors so I can progress a little bit faster the next time I come back to it. So I just thought it would be useful for you to see. This is quite a nice way to get oxygen underwater. Now I'm going to go up to the surface. These brain coal. That was a piece of metal salvage I just picked up, which is a good source of titanium. You will see those scattered around the place from the crashed spaceship that you came down on, the Aurora. And that's that big ship you can see outside. It's pretty much the only landmark you've got initially, apart from your life pod itself. I'm going to delve into these caves in a second once I've got some more oxygen. Okay, let's go down here. So I really don't think I've started off in quite the same place that I did the last few. Now these chaps are irritating because they blow up. Ha! Missed me. Right, excellent. That's of use because they leave behind sulfur, which I need. So that was quite nice they did that.
Detecting sulfur deposits in the local cave systems. Sulfur is an essential component of the repair tool.
Which I'm going to need. So that's a useful pickup.
Oxygen.
And you can see how quickly oxygen can go down at this point, and if you're not paying attention, that will get you. So you've got to be prepared to get back out from wherever you are and back up to the surface. I didn't just let him go, I didn't really mean to. Important lesson, don't keep fish in your hands unless you want to let them go, because it's very easily done. Various fish around, so your PDA will tell you where your life pod is at all times. At the moment, it's the only thing you've got a lock on. So I'm going to go back now, and I'm just going to see what I've got, because I think actually there's a couple of other things I can pick up here. That sounds like something that's going to blow up in my face, and it did. Yeah, little so-and-so. Oh well. It's definitely not where I normally start, because they're not normally around so much. As you can see, that's taken a little chunk off my health there. I do think your health does recuperate itself a little bit. But I'm just going to show you some basic survival techniques now around cooking and so on. So only the fabricator is working at the moment, but that's okay. So I don't want to cook the bladder fish because they're useful for something else, which I'll show you in a second.
The fabricator cooks small organisms while disposing of the skeletal structure, bodily fluids, and internal organs, thus rendering them safe for human consumption.
So bladder fish give you water. So they're very, very important, because at the moment that's one of the few ways you can actually produce water for yourself, and you've got to have water. So it's always worth having some spare. That you are given some to start with, but you've got to start producing your own pretty rapidly. not going to cook any more food because, as I mentioned before, it does degrade. So I'm just going to eat some of these guys. So you see, you get 31 health, 31 food from that, and the 31 will take me up to nearly maximum. That will actually take me beyond 100 strange. I don't actually know what your technical maximum is. I might let him. I'm going to eat him anyway. See what happens. 111. Yeah, okay, that's good. I think my health is coming up as well. So I'm on 62 at the moment. I'll drink some water as well. So, okay, well, let's leave it there. Let's have a look at this. So resources now. I can make titanium because I picked up metal salvage. And that's a good starting point. You can get titanium in a number of different ways, but metal salvage is a very obvious one. And I can even make a battery. There we go. So because I've got copper and I've got acid mushrooms, I can make a battery. And that immediately opens up options. So now I have a new blueprint available. And I can already make a scanner. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead and make a scanner because scanners are absolutely critical.
The scanner can be used to synthesize blueprints from salvage technology and to record alien biological data. Detecting increased local radiation levels. Trend is consistent with damage to the Aurora's drive core sustained during planet fall.
Yeah, radiation is an issue if you go near your main spaceship. So I've just made myself an oxygen tank. Very easy to do early doors. So if I now do the inventory, you can see here standard oxygen tank. So it gives you 30 seconds of oxygen, which is fine. It gives you more scope than you had before, so that's absolutely of use. And you can also now do a high capacity one as well, but you need a lot more bits and bobs to do that with. So let's make a fire extinguisher. Don't need that now. Pipes, floating air pumps. I've not tried the floating air pumps and pipes, but I believe they help you if you're going deep. Excuse me. Waterproof lockers, very handy for extra storage. Otherwise you only have what's available in your life pod, which is very limited. What I like to do with this is pop out. It's night time. It's always pretty. Actually lets you catch certain types of fish much more easily if it's night time. So I'm just going to deploy this here. You right click and off it pops. And you can rename it. So I am going to put I'm going to put some fish in here because then I know I've got some handy. I can just grab them out as the need arises. So editing blocker name is a bit tricky. So I'm just going to call it fish. Now, what I need from this point is ideally some more copper. I'm just going to surface. Now I can start scanning things at this point. And this is of use because once you start scanning things, you start getting a lot more information about where you are. I'll be a little bit cautious here because I suspect that. So you can see that then gets me a databank entry, and as you carry on, you get more and more information about various things. You can see this is an example of a cave system, and you've got to be very careful because you can lose track of what you're doing, and if you do, then you could be in trouble because you will not run out of oxygen.
30 seconds.
Yep, he blew up near me again. Excellent. Irritating little creatures, those little blaster bomber type guys. So there are two entrances into this cave system here. You can see both there quite clearly, thanks to the phosphorescence effect. Unfortunately, I don't currently have light source is worth a damn. That's where he came out of, I think. He gave me some sulfur, so that's good of him. I need to get back out again now. Unfortunately, I've misplaced myself. There we go. Okay. And that's the thing, you can very easily get yourself turned around if you're not careful. Now, I think I've got some more copper, which means I can get a battery together. What I would like to do is find some vines, which I think I can see over here. Assume I'm not going to get irradiated, of course. I've got plenty of space, so I can pick these up. It's a bit of a stretch because I've got to get fairly deep to get these, but they're worth having. This will allow me to start. The thing, see, even scanning this is taking my oxygen down. So you can't assume that just because you're doing something else, you're not also breathing, because of course you are also breathing.
Acquired.
Okay. So that gives me another blueprint. So that's
Life on this planet grows in unusually distinct and diverse ecological biomes. Further study recommended.
Up we go. By holding down the spacebar, I can just go straight up, basically, which is useful when you're trying to hit the surface. This lifeboat is definitely in a different place to where I've had it before, which is curious. I rather assumed it would be a fixed starting point, but I don't think it is. I mean, I'm learning as I go here, as I say, because I've not really tried survival terribly much. I've done a little bit now, but not massively. What I'm hoping is that I need a repair tool to get my systems fully online here. I don't seem to have the option yet, though. Make another battery. Some glass. And now I can make silicon rubber. And I can make lubricant as well.
Lubricant is essential in construction of vehicles and power plants.
So now I can make myself some fins, so I think I'll do that. The fins allow you to move faster underwater, surprise, surprise.
Available data to provide environment appropriate equipment using locally available materials. For your safety, this setting cannot be overridden.
Right, yes, looking rubber. I thought I had enough to make it. Let's have a look. Excellent. Okay, so now I can get the repair tool. So it doesn't take long to be able to get yourself in a decent position to do so. If I can make myself a survival knife as well, is also very important. Not so much for killing things, but for taking samples.
On Abraxas Prime, the knife remains the only exception.
And I will have a flashlight. So I've done quite nicely there. I don't want to play for too long, just at the moment, but that's quite nice. So what I'll do now is I'll equip the repair tool. Yes, it's working, thank you. And gradually bring the wires back up. Oh, it's 100% complete. My lights come on.
Running full environment diagnostic and outputting results to databank.
And hopefully I'll stop smoking quite so much. I'll also fix the radio. There we go. Now, all is well with the world. I'm not smoking anymore.
Radio online.
Got a med kit. Just use one of those just to power back up a bit. Now I'm going to use the fabricator just to chew up the remaining creep vine. I keep wanting to call it grapevine. I've no idea. Just anyway, creep vines. They take some of these items take up a lot of space in your inventory. So really, you want to convert them into something smaller as soon as you reasonably can, which is why I'm producing stuff I don't really need massively at the moment, just because it'll chew them up. Then they'll take less space in my inventory, which means I can pop them away in here, and you can see I've got loads now, so I don't need that many with me. Nor indeed do I know really what I'm going to do with most of them. Grab some more water. So I'm in fairly rude health at this point, which is good. Some quartz over there. Do a quick save. Now then, next up is taking some samples with my knife, because that then gives you some more options. Again, I'm picking up way too many segments of this, as I often do, but I will probably yeah, that's way too much. Okay, now I think I needed that, but I also need some of these. These are quite good fun. You can quite good to evade predators, actually, these as well. Okay, so that will then give me some options. Just eat him in a second. Sorry, dude. So I'm just itching myself there for a moment, and then I forget that I'm actually going to die of oxygen starvation if I don't move myself. I'm trying to find a bladder fish to get some more water. Just check to see if I've got any in here. And I haven't, so I do need to find some. Let me just have a look around if I can spot anybody. Bladder fish, bladder fish, bladder fish, bladder fish, bladder fish. Where are you? Ah, got him. Thank you. Thank you. Marvellous. If you can't find them, then two come on at once. Often the way in life. Okay, very nice. Okay, that's. I think, if I'm right, I've got some more fabrication options now. So you get more titanium. Equipment, what fin, standard 2-tank. Glass. Okay. I can make an air bladder now. These are for use when you've gone too deep and you can't get back in time any other way. Basically, you are going to need that to try and save yourself. Get yourself in a locker. I don't really need to cook any food at the moment. There was something else I thought I could make, and I'm not sure why I thought I could make it. Oh, it could be that table coal samples for a computer chip. But I need gold, I need copper wire. Always need copper, and I never ever have enough, which is quite annoying. So I'm just gonna store those in there. And I think I will make another. Maybe some water. And then I'm going to go outside and just store some of these plants elsewhere. Just so they're not taking up my personal inventory quite so much. You can see this boomerang will give you 8 food, but it'll take away 3 of your water. So you can eat them raw if you're desperate, but they will chew up some of your hydration levels, so you've got to be a little bit careful with that. Because it's not necessarily the best idea. So I'm going to deploy this one here. And this one is plants. So I'm going to stick all of these, as many as I can manage, into there. I'll also pop those in there. So that's obviously it's cleared up my inventory. So what I really want to do now is go on a good hunt for pretty much anything else I can usefully find. Because what I really need is anything and everything that will give me greater capacity to create new things. And here he comes. Unfortunately, that was never going to hit me. I saw him coming too fast. Well, that one could though, but he didn't. I think going vertical is probably a good way to avoid them from the looks of it. Why did I pick him up? That's it. Oh, I got 2 sulphurs unexpectedly from that, so that's not a bad thing. Grab some quartz. Quartz is all well and good, but it doesn't
30 seconds.
doesn't really get me anything massively exciting apart from water. Sorry, not water, glass, even. Let's dive back down. These brain coals are really handy because they give you oxygen low down. So you don't have to surface to get oxygen, which is very useful. Metal salvage is a bit of a pain because it's very big, but as I'm... Oh, the stalker. Now, these guys are quite irritating because they pinch metal. I'm just trying to get a scan on him if I can. I'm not sure where he's going to put it. There we go. I'd be interested to read up on them because, as I say, they are quite annoying. But they are very kindly gathering all of that good stuff in one place for me, which is...
Caution. Continued degradation of the Aurora's drive core may result in a quantum detonation. Continuing to monitor.
That was salt. That might give me copper. Right now I need to scarper upwards because I'm getting low on oxygen. I need to refill.
Oxygen.
I know. Okay, let's get some creeper vine fragments if I can. That's it.
New blueprint acquired.
I have no idea what that one was. Okay, inventory's pretty full at this point, so it's time to head back. Unless I can find something small I can grab along the way. Like that bladder fish possibly. Yeah, he'll do. So that was quite a useful trip out. Let's see what I've got. Okay, yes, fibre mesh is new. Some creeper vine. Create some glass now. And titanium. Quite a bit of titanium actually, I suspect. Yeah, quite a bit of titanium. So we did quite a lot of salvage. Now, titanium ingots. I haven't come across a use for them yet. I suspect they're used in creating bigger ships. They do reduce the amount of storage you've got to expend to have titanium available to you, but I don't know how to break them down into smaller titanium elements. So it's a little bit curious. I think I should have thought that through before I did that. Simply because I might want to keep that copper separate. So scanner I've got, repair tool I've got, flashlight I've got, survival knife I've got, pathfinder tool I haven't got, copper wire I haven't got enough of yet. So I really do want some I need a bit more glass, so I need some silver ore. I can make a first aid kit now, but again that's not vital because I can just pick them out of here. So there we go. I have some water now anyway. So what I really want to do at this point, I'm just going to cook these guys and eat it because just to top my food back up a little bit, because I think what I want to do at this point is try and empty out this. Salt can be used to cure foods as it lasts longer, so it is quite handy. I don't want to take the battery with me. I'm going to leave that here for now, and I'll put a spare medkit in there as well. Okay. I think I'm going to get another waterproof locker, because I want one for materials so I can have a clear storage area for my excess materials. So I want one for fish, and I've got one for plants, and now I'm going to have one for materials. Titanium in there, a couple of those in there. That way I've just got a little bit of a place to offload some stuff to. So that's useful. Now, I really want to focus on getting copper. The metal salvage is all well and good up to a point, but I really need my flashlight in a useful position. That would be really helpful. So I'm looking for anything and everything coppery at this point. And I really wish I knew of a better place, a better way to find stuff reliably, but I should have scanned that first. Actually, there's a little icon flashes up in the bottom right to tell you that you can scan something. Once you've scanned it once, that's it. It's in your data bank, but you do have to remember to do it, of course. It does help.
30 seconds.
They do love their metal salvage, these guys. Thanks, guys. He's probably upset with me now. Time to climb. You can switch it off to conserve power. Just right click, on and off. I probably do need a couple of creep vine. I think I need some more. Just take up so much space. Okay. Let's keep going down. Really want some more copper. Quick scan. Very quick scan, preferably.
Silver Silver-based wiring kits
Ah,
are an
silver,
essential
okay.
component of many habitat modules.
Silver's good, but it's not copper.
30 seconds.
Right, time to go back. I'm in dire need of a better air tank at this point, it has to be said. This is where it starts getting a bit tight because you're very close to running out of oxygen. I'm just trying to find a little bit more copper. Would be nice. I'm hoping that might have got me some actually. I just need lots. You just need a lot of copper for anything vaguely electronic. It's going to require you to have a fair bit of copper handy. That could have finished off my inventory. It hasn't actually. To my surprise, I thought I might have been out of inventory at that point. Okay, that's titanium. Now you see I've only got 3 small inventory slots left. That's it. If I found brain coal, I would have used that. Ah, there is one there actually. Now, if I'm very lucky, there's a bit of a risk.
Oxygen.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. I can effectively refuel here. It's in oxygen terms. I'm going to keep this powered off now. See, nice way to get a full tank. That if you just stay still for a little bit, then you can get a full tank. And I'm tempted by the quartz, but there we go. I want the copper more. He still managed to catch me. I think that was copper. I hope that was copper. I wonder where his little house was that one that broke out and clobbered me, because that's good. Yeah, oxygen. How am I doing? Yeah, that was copper. I've only got 1 copper. Oh, I've got lead. Okay. It's not terrible, but I was hoping for better, if I'm honest. I was hoping for better.
30 seconds.
Not sure what that was. And inventory is full. Right. Ah, floaters. First time I've seen this game. I'm going to head back to the pod now. Let's see if I've got enough to make anything interesting with now. So I think we're going for about half an hour now. Just to give you a good taste of the game. I mean, it's very, very pretty. I don't know how it ranks in terms of other survival games, to be honest. I mean, it's not as violent as many, so I mean, I'm very happy with my son, having a crack at this, because it's quite scary in terms of sort of jump scares, that sort of idea. But generally speaking, though, it's not ridiculous. Lots of titanium. Times 2. Actually, I'm wondering if I've got enough. If I can combine something from in here. Yes. Oh no. Glass, titanium. Lots of titanium. I think I'm gonna have to do the ingot thing because I've got a ridiculous amount of titanium and it's getting a bit silly. So if I do that, then it takes a shed load of your individual titanium fragments and combines them all. So I still can't do that. But I have got... Ah, no, I've got silver ore now. So actually, let me try and do this because this would be of use. Because I should have... If I've got enough glass to do it. I might have glass in my sources outside the pod, actually. I'm thinking. Just wondering if I've got more quartz anywhere. Ironically, I was trying to avoid picking up quartz because I didn't think I needed it, but let me just pop outside. I do need to call it a night, but I'm just going to pop outside and see if I've got... Yeah, I've only got titanium there, unfortunately. I've actually been quite a good boy and I've kept things in the right containers, so I just need a little bit of quartz. Let's just see if I can grab some from somewhere. I've got space to grab some. Because if I could grab quartz and just end with getting a higher capacity tank, I would be fairly happy with that as an outcome. Salt. I'm not after your bits, don't
30
panic.
seconds.
That would be of use. Good. I'll keep it down a little bit longer. Let's scan it actually. There we go. Scanned. Now this is one of the crater, the cargo pods that you sometimes see littering the place. Ah, excellent. That's a nice one to find. It's one of 3. Very good. Excellent. It's really useful. That was copper. Ironically, I wanted quartz, didn't I? I found that brain coral again. That's good. Excellent. Quartz, making some quartz. Absolutely typical, normally dead easy to find, and then you can't find it when you want it. Why have I got grape seeds in there still? It's a bit silly. I swear to God, I'm finding everything that... interesting. I think that was quartz.
30 seconds.
Ah, time to scan these. Pretty, but probably pretty annoying as well, I suspect. Right. So, let's end on a high note. Let's get up and out of here.
Seconds.
Yes, alright, I'm going. Go pay attention to the oxygen. Okay, so I can do copper wire now, that's of use. Just trying to think what I actually want to build next.
Warning. Local radiation readings suggest the
There we
Aurora's
go.
drive core has reached critical state. Quantum detonation will occur within 2 hours.
So take a good long look at the Aurora as it is, because it's not going to be like that for terribly much longer, I suspect. I don't know how long 2 hours is, whether or not it's in game time or my time, if you see what I mean. Now, I was going to make high capacity one of those, wasn't I? I needed more glass, didn't I? Which is what I was after. So, let's produce some glass. No? No. I thought I'd picked up some quartz. Did pick up quartz. Why can't I make glass then? Do I need more quartz? Switch that around. Yes, I needed 2 quartz for glass. Hopefully. No. Ah, I need a standard one first. Okay. That's it. Now I can have a high capacity one. Excellent. So now I have a high capacity one. So I simply switch that off there. Now I have 135 worth of oxygen, and that's a pretty good place to be. So it just makes life a little bit less stressful. I could cure some food here. I'm going to cure this. So what this does is it slows down the decomposition of the food, so you can take it with you when you're going longer distances. I'm just going to make this. Get rid of these creepvine seed clusters because they're huge. I have a sneaking suspicion I could have made something if I hadn't done that. Am I going to kick myself for that? Oh, we breather now. The roaring kits are tricky to make. I really want to make a habitat builder. I've not got that far yet. That's on my to-do list, definitely. Okay. A lot of the other stuff I have managed to do. I'm fairly happy with that. I think what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to bring my levels up to reasonable levels just before I stop. That's cured boom. I don't actually use that yet because it'll keep. If I take some acid mushrooms out, I can get some more batteries as well. In fact, I can just grab them from here. I'll just grab them from there. What else have I got materials wise? Don't know if I need any more cave sulfur particularly. Lead's going to be useful later. Gold I'll put in there as well. I'll put some silicon rubber in there because I don't know if I need that particularly. Salt deposit. Fish, yes please. I need to cook 1 or 2 of those now, just so I've got my health for food wise back up. Sustenance, cooked food, cooked pepper, please. Beeper even. It's a beeper because of its eyes, you see. Excellent, right. Eat that. Eat those. Excellent. There we are. So that's a good place to leave it, I think. So I've got a high capacity oxygen tank. I've got fins. Haven't got much of anything else there at the moment. I'm just going to get rid of this.
Congratulations, Survivor. You have exceeded your weekly exercise quotient by 500%. Data indicates that swimming was your favorite activity. Be sure to vary your routine for uniform muscle development.
So I can make some copper. What do I need copper? Yeah, I could do. I'll just make some copper wire. Because then in theory I can make a computed ship for whatever that's worth. Because I'm not sure if I can remember how to do this from memory now. What do I need for it? Table coal sample and gold, okay. And gold, I think I've left in the outside one. Quickly. Bit of gold. Back we go. Right, so I've made a computer chip. Advanced wiring kit is unlocked by doing that.
Acquired.
Okay. I'll put that in there so I don't lose track of it. That in there as well. Okay. Right. There I'm going to leave it, I think. Well, I hope that's given you a bit of a taste for Subnautica. There is a new game based on it called Subnautica Below Zero as well, if you want to have a look at that. And if you've got this far and you would like to say thank you, you could always support one of my LEGO ideas on the LEGO Ideas website. It's free to do so. And there are various videos on my channel about the projects that I've got going at the moment. Stingray would seem to be particularly appropriate for this particular game. So I'll leave it there. If you'd like to see some more playtime on this from me, let me know. I could even put my head on here in theory. But for now, this is Excelsior's Domain, signing off.